the camera. Here am I. Good morning. I'm just practicing my settings for Ecamm and doing a million other things. So, hi. Nice to see you on not a Thursday night. So now I'm going to see if this is actually going out on Facebook. Looks like it is. All right. So if you're watching, leave me a comment so I can figure out how comments work too, okay? Leave me a comment. I am testing Ecamm. So Ecamm is one of the live stream solutions that I use regularly. But I haven't used it that much for long live streams because it has a big learning curve. And I belong to a bunch of groups to teach me how to use Ecamm. So I see 2 people watching. Thank you, you 2. So now I just had to figure out, can I see any comments? There's my audio. I don't need that, so I'll turn that down. But I can see that it's actually streaming, so yay. That's good. And you can see my setup behind here. I've been rearranging a little bit. So I'm going to put some pictures, I think, up right there. So, but yeah, new year. I've been living with this space, wonderfully redecorated space for 6 or 7 months. And I needed to change it up a little bit. And I put a bunch of books in storage that I don't think I'm going to use. It was like a lot of my classical books. I'm not ready to get rid of them, but I don't need them to be within a fingertip's reach right now. So they're going into storage. I was trying to Marie Kondo that stuff and like just a spark joy. Yeah, it still does. It still does to hold a book of Mozart. I kind of like it. So I'm going to hold on to it for a while. Okay. So now I am looking around. How do I get comments if I want to get comments on here? I think I can. Ed Valley. Hi, Ed. Except, what the heck? All right. Hello. That part I don't understand about how the comments go. So that part I don't get. I know I can do it in Restream chat and it kind of goes to Restream, but I can't figure out where to pick up the comments inside Ecamm. That might be a bridge too far, but that's kind of why I'm doing this, is to test all that out. So I don't know how you all are seeing the ability to comment or where that's coming from. That's the part that I don't know. So I'm just going to type in a chat here. Hello, I am, let's see, can you see and hear me? Please type in the chat so I can see and hear you. All right, how's that for fun? So let's see, what else is there to find out on Ecamm? It's fun. I mean, I think the quality is really good, and you can switch around to different little shots like this. Here's with a countdown. Let's see if I can actually make this fire. See? Love that. And then just this, right? It's, yeah. So you can set up all these scenes to have them ready to go like a real producer. See, there I am. Hi. Hi. And then there's the show. Open, main shot, right? So just this. And then if I have a guest, I can split it in 2. You can't see it since right now there's nobody on here. So you can see I've tried it out at different types or at different times. And I feel like I was somewhat successful, but somewhat not. So it just takes a lot of practice to get this stuff to work. That's kind of it for everything, right? Is that if you're going to live stream, you have to be willing to do exactly this and practice this kind of stuff. So I practice every part of the tech. I practice, yeah, I'm testing on both Facebook and YouTube. Did you get the Facebook comment? I did, Ed. You're testing at the same time? My co-ed is testing. Yes, Ed, I got it. You said testicles. It was great. So, yes, I got it. So, with Ecamm or with any kind of live streaming, I test all the elements according to whether I've got somebody live in the studio with me sitting here, but for this month I won't because of that variant. So I'm trying to make sure that my live streaming is as solid as it can be and reliable as it can be, but it changes a little bit according to how many guests I have, how many are remote, how many are in here, and what kind. Their tech doesn't really affect me, but every week we do have to go through that process where we make sure that they have the tech they need to sound as good as they can, and also so we can be back and forth. So when I'm in the studio, I have to set up microphones for everybody. I have to make sure everybody has in-ear monitors if we have to hear anybody on the computer. Then I also just set up this room a little bit, make them feel comfortable. I have to move my keyboard into place. I don't know if you can see it right here with this wonderful camera. There's the keyboard, and it has these wonderful, it's on wheels now. I got a wheeled keyboard stand, and I love it. I just love it. So I can move that sucker around. That's also what precipitated me kind of rearranging this room. Here, I'll just move this camera again. So my other keyboard is now over there. My Techniques, which I also love. I just love the sound of it. It's such a good sound. Yeah, he's testing me. That's right, Ed. So I don't want to get rid of it, but also right now I don't quite kind of need it. So I've stuck it on some sliders so I can move it around a little bit, but I don't want it to be close to, you know, the main area. So sometimes, you know, when we're not in the middle of a surge, I'll have somebody here, you know, sitting in that chair, and then I can play for them right here. And that's kind of fun. So I can look out the window and see everything. So, but that's over there now. And then I'll put some pictures or something up here on this wall so you have something nice to look at. But this is kind of mission central. So when I'm live streaming, I set up the mics. I set up a camera angle, you know, to pick us up. I have a light above here. And then I usually am plugging in this keyboard into whatever, you know, mixer or audio interface I'm using. And then we test everything. So then at 6:30 I go live before the 7 o'clock show. Again, just to test the transmission and test the feed, and then I watch it. And if there's anything I need to adjust, I adjust it then. But I can't tell sometimes how the volume is on things. I depend on you, viewers, to let me know that. So thank you for doing it. So let's see if anybody is responding on anywhere else. I don't know. I'm watching on YouTube, and there's on Facebook. All right. And this is Mark. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Now I see all of you are responding on Facebook. What's interesting is that now I can see all of these comments on Facebook that you've been saying for the past 5 minutes. Thank you so much. But I don't see any of them on Restream, on the chat. So that's either I need to change a setting there to make sure that's accurate, or that's not available in the configuration I have. So thank you all. David says audio is good. Mark says he can't hear. Hi, Robin. Hi, Liz. All right. Thank you so much. All right. I'll keep on trying to get this better and better. I turn this off turn off my volume. There, you don't need to hear me twice. I don't want to hear me twice. I'm actually, I'm broadcasting on several different channels right now because that's what I like to do. I'm broadcasting on Facebook and Twitch and YouTube. I'm like 2 or 3 different channels on Facebook. So each one has its own thing. And sometimes when I do these kind of things, I don't want to clog up your feed. And so I will just broadcast to one or the other, like just to YouTube or just to Twitch, especially when I'm testing out live streams. I thought I'll go onto Twitch to do that because I know not a lot of people watch it there, and it disappears after a couple of weeks. So I don't have to worry about, you know, everything staying online up there. So it's good for that. So when people come to the studio, this is what I practice, this kind of a setup. When I have a remote guest, like I hope some of you will be in 2022, I am now taking guests and bookings for February and March. It's a different process. And that's also kind of why I'm testing this particular thing, because for some people, I've noticed that Restream.io, which is my main streamer, works really well. Restream is an aggregator, so I can broadcast from it, but I can also take feed from some other kind of a live streamer and put it through Restream, but it literally restreams to these other platforms, which is why I use it. And I started using it like last, December or January, a little bit, even when I first started doing the Eden Show, which, by the way, the anniversary of the Eden Show, the first anniversary, is coming up. So our first show was like January 23rd, 2021. And we're going to have an anniversary show on January 20th. And my first guest will be back. So when I'm doing all these live streams and I'm doing something remote, and I only have remote guests, then the procedure is that earlier in the week, we test everything together and we see what's going to work best for them. Because many times live streaming is a new experience for them. So I factor in an hour or more to make sure that they feel good about it. So I send them, links and information about, which ones to try. And then we get on and we test out the system. And then I let them see themselves streaming as well. But they have to make sure their microphone is set up. They have to make sure their camera is set up. Sometimes they're messing with their lighting. And if they have an instrument, they have to make sure that we can get all that sound in. So all of that stuff has to be tested. And we don't test it on Thursdays. We test it on any other day besides that. So we're all in place. Oh, good. Everybody can hear me? Yay. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Paula. Appreciate it. So I like this. I like this particular setup. So it's gotten dark all of a sudden, right? It's darker here. That might be my camera setting. I'm not sure. Or we just lost the sun because it's Rhode Island in January. That could be that too. So when I'm setting up for a remote live stream, we test it several days beforehand. We test the mic, the lights, the instruments. Then we make up a set list of what we're going to do. And then on the day of the show, y'all, I usually start setting up this room around 5 o'clock. And then at 6 o'clock, we meet online, whatever kind of green room we have. And we're testing the system and making sure everybody's tech works, because we can fix things in that hour. You'd be amazed at how many things can go wrong 1 hour before a live stream. And right, Karen says she can see and hear me. Karen understands. A lot of things can go wrong right before a live stream. A lot of things. Batteries fail. Wireless fails. Something's unplugged. The lighting doesn't look like it did, right? Lots of things can go wrong. Or a million people are on a bunch of different channels, and so the stream has slowed down. All of a sudden, your stream got throttled on your end by your internet service provider, and you had no idea. All of these things can happen. One show I had last month, everything went wrong at the exact same time. Like 5 things went wrong an hour before the show. Sometimes the credentials that I give for people to come into the live stream stop working. That was fun. So yeah, one night we did the Eden show and we started 15 minutes late, and it's because I couldn't get any of my guests on. We had been perfectly fine half an hour before, and then all of a sudden I couldn't get anybody on. It was maddening. But that's the reality, right? Is that live stream is a production, and productions, you practice every step you can, and then you be prepared to change it if you have to. So 6 o'clock we get on, we test all the stuff, and then at 6:30 we go live for about 30 seconds to test that stream. Then we go back and we watch it. We make sure that everything works. And then when it works, we can calm down ever so slightly. And then everybody is given access to the final, basically the final green room. There's 2 different green rooms. And I wish Restream had a feature so I didn't have to do that. But when I create an Eden show, I create what's called an event. And it's basically a little scheduler inside Restream that lets me send that out to all of you, right? So that way you can kind of hold the date and you know who's coming. And it's to give you a link so that way when the show actually starts, you get a reminder and you can access it really quickly. But if I try to stream from that place, it will think like the show is starting. Does that make sense? So I have to, actually, let me see if I can actually share my screen and I'll show you. How about that? I can practice that skill, right? I got to practice my skills. Skills. Everything is a skill. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah. This is my Restream. Yeah. You can see that, right? All right. So, oh yeah, I see it. It's very meta. I can see my own screen here. It says my bit rate is not wonderful, but hey, that's all right. So, but I can choose where I'm going to put all of these things. And then if I go over to, let's see, where is it? Scheduler. I don't want that one. Go back. See, I like Restream otherwise. It is good. There. Okay. These are all the finished events, right? And they're all my Eden shows. So to create an event, I tell it how I want it to work. I add the title right here. I add my image, and then I'm off to the races. I haven't done this yet, actually. So, well, I could do it now. What the heck? I've got the card. So, the Eden show, what volume is it? I think it's 39. This exciting morning TV. Beth Barron is my guest this week. So she is a singer, songwriter, and let's see, folk songs. That's how I would describe her. She's fantastic. Beth Barron. singer, songwriter. Let's see. And what a voice. She does have a great voice. She'll be singing originals and covers on the Eden Show with Dan Chayka, Esquire, as Eden. He's doing a lot better, by the way. All right. He's still really tired, he says, because he talked about on last week's show, he is recovering from COVID. He's doing a lot better. So there, I got all to the stuff. Now I can upload the image. I'll probably add to this a little more. So, let me find that image on my desktop. Beth Barron. There's Instagram image, and I need it to be wide. There. I called her simply the Beth. Get it? She's simply the Beth. Singing, performing. Because she's not going to be just singing, she's going to be playing as well. Okay, then I get to decide where I'm going to send it. I'm going to send it out to all these places and all these different channels. So now I've created the event. Bingo. And then you'll see that show up in your social media. Isn't that great? So one cool thing that Restream can do is I can actually pair it. So Beth can actually send this out to her people at the same time. So if you're watching it on one of my channels, great, but you can also watch it on hers. So I think that's a really cool feature. All right, so basically I just created the event, and you just see it now of what we're going to be doing this week on the Eden Show with Beth. And that's great. So now that's called an event, a Restream event. So that goes out, that triggers reminders like an hour beforehand. I think Restream reminds you that this is going to be starting in an hour, things like that. I really appreciate that feature of Restream. But for Beth and I to practice, we have to actually create like a different event. And so she has to, it takes two different, sets of credentials. And it's just like one extra step I wish we didn't have to have. But this is minor. Overall, I'm pretty happy with that live stream. And Ecamm, I'm kind of getting there too. So yeah, Beth, I'm excited to have you on here. So we got to figure out what the heck we're going to have you do. So, but when somebody's a great musician like she is, it's just going to be fun. So I just get to sit there and like noodle around because really she's going to do all the work. I could probably just sit here and have a glass of champagne and she'd handle it. I'm not worried. This is coffee. Isn't this cute? Isn't that nice? They know I'm Scottish, right? So, but the thing is, I'm right-handed, and this is like a great left-handed mug. And that's great, but I'm right-handed. I do not have the instinct to pick this up in my left hand, even to show off the E. So basically, I entertain myself when I'm looking at this mug. Left-handed pottery person, I'm guessing. All right. So Ecamm, I think we like it. And I like that how fast I can make these kind of text boxes and things like that. But what I can't figure out is how fast, hi there, combo guy, is how fast to do the scene changes. So what they call them scene changes. And you saw me kind of quickly waltz through them earlier. So Ecamm had a really fun thing last month where they were encouraging everybody to try as many different things that they could. They called it like 30 days of Ecamm or whatever. But I thought that was a great idea because it really does take that long to practice how to do all these skills. So that way you can just fire them off and you don't have to think about it. When I'm live streaming, I'm thinking about a lot of things. So I'm watching the comments from everybody. I'm interacting with my guest, my MC, and sometimes also performing and playing. And I don't mind doing all of that. To me, it feels like being a drummer and just like hitting the different stuff. Occasionally hit a cymbal, occasionally do this. But I like doing all of that when it works. When it doesn't work, I get kind of, ugh. So, but the only way to make sure it works is to do all this testing. So I'm probably going to be on here testing this a few more times before Thursday. And I'll try that with Beth this week, and we'll see how it goes. So right now I know how to this is like if I bring in a guest, this is like holding this for the guest place, and then I can click back and just get me on the camera. Then I can add on like different kinds of text. I can change the kind of texting I do. So I can change the color. I can change a whole bunch of stuff about, I can change the corners. See how I make that kind of cute? Ta-da! Let's see if it'll, see, look, now they're all rounded and pretty and everything. So these are all the little things that I can mess with in Ecamm. I can change the amount of border. Let's see what that, let's see, isn't it? Do you like that better? It's kind of nice. This is like, you know, I know, playing around the edges. What I really like about it is how crisp the image is. I like that I can add on a bunch of different people fairly quickly, but it doesn't work for everybody. So some guests I've tried on Ecamm, they weren't able to get on, or they had a terrible connection, but they had a really good connection with Restream. And when I'm live streaming, whatever works best for the guest is what I use. So as time goes on, maybe I'll make it more like, no, you must use this system. This is how I operate. But I'm not there yet. If I have two systems that work, then I want to use those two systems. And there are other ones that work as well. So I'm using Ecamm Live this morning and testing that out. I'm using it with Restream, so I can restream it to other people. And my other option would be, and the ones I've used in the past are StreamYard. And StreamYard's great. They all have slightly different features, which is why I keep on using several of them, because sometimes I want this, sometimes I want that. And then the other big one is OBS. Open Broadcasting Software, I think that's what it's called. And that is, freeware. But I think Ecamm is a wonderful program, and it's kind of like OBS and what it does and the way it functions. But Ecamm is specifically for Mac people, and I'm a Mac girl as the day is long. So I love Ecamm for that reason as well, is that it's such a great Mac-based product. And I love the overlays that are on here. Restream doesn't have those same kind of overlays. You have to make your own and import them. And I have to import them one at a time into Restream. Restream is basically, it's browser-based. So an Ecamm is desktop-based and laptop-based. It does not work on mobile devices. So you can be a guest on Ecamm on a mobile device, but in order to actually function with it, you have to be a Mac person who's got some power in their Mac. So, and all that works really well for me. OBS works really well for people who have PCs. And on Twitch, a lot of people are using OBS. It's really built for that ecosystem, which is one reason I don't Twitch as much, because I don't like OBS that much. I'd rather use Ecamm or Restream and not have to deal with it. So combo guy, yes, that's how I feel about it. So Twitch is really good if you're going to be online for forever. And I love watching some of the programs on there, and some of them are really great music programs. So I'm still getting into that kind of an ecosystem. And I've seen there are some kind of talk shows or musical talk shows on there, but most of my people I think are Facebook and YouTube. And I thank you very much, by the way, for watching all the stuff I do. I really appreciate it. So I think we have tested this thoroughly, and I think we know what's going on. Yeah, I know Ecamm didn't work for you, Daniel, and I wish it had, but maybe next time. So I'm glad that we have options. So Beth, we're going to try you probably on Ecamm, because you can see I'm trying it here. And every time I practice, I get a little better at figuring all this stuff out. If you've ever thought about doing this kind of live streaming, then be prepared to try it a lot and have people to practice with, and be ready to practice this on your own, just like what I'm doing, right? It's really important that you do that. And it's not practicing once, it's practicing consistently. So that's one of the reasons why I do this live stream every week, is because it forces me to practice those skills. And when I don't do it for like a couple of weeks for vacations or things, I have to learn it again. You really do forget some of the steps to lead towards it. But when you do have that consistency, it's really fun. And I love getting to share that skill with other musicians. And I love that I can play and jam and work with musicians who live hundreds of miles away, who I normally wouldn't be able to play with and have fun with. So that's, to me, is the great fun of it. So if you are my friend and you're watching this on one of those channels and you thought, yo, that's how she does that live stream, then we should talk about you being on here for either one song or an hour, because I can make it really fun. So let's see, what else is going on in my life? This is basically it right now, right? There's lots of that. I have lots of projects that are about to begin. And I don't know about you, but when I'm about to begin a lot of projects, I usually start cleaning my house and organizing my house. So, oh yeah, she says, oh, Karen says, I'm definitely your friend. Yes, Karen, and you were on, what, last March or April? You want to be on again? I want you on again. I think that could be a lot of fun. How about on January 20th, if you want to come and sing a song for the anniversary show? Hmm? So all those guests can be remote. You can all kind of talk with each other. That'd be great. So what was I saying about, oh yeah, I have so many projects to do that my house is really clean because I figured I would rather clean my house than have to embark on any of those projects, right? So let's clean up, let's rearrange the studio, let's put up some pictures, let's do all those things rather than actually start the projects. But it's time to start the projects. Would you like me to tell you what they are? Thanks. Okay. What would I like to do? I have two projects. One is I'm going to do a cabaret for the National Association of Teachers of Singing in early July. So I get to write a cabaret about this, about live streaming and about using it for musical purposes, and about how singers can use this for themselves and for their studios and their colleagues. So the cabaret is called I Can't Do That, because for the last 2 years we've all said that. So I actually proposed that to them and said I could write a whole show about why I do this and what it has meant for me and my singers in my studio and my colleagues, you know, to do this kind of a thing. So, but really also talking about all these little steps that kind of go into making this kind of a production. What voice teachers don't realize is that they already do multi-step stuff all the time, in terms of how they work with students and what they're listening for singing-wise and helping singers put together auditions and performances. We all do stuff that takes a lot of steps. But for some reason, when they think about this kind of set of steps for live streaming, everybody gets really shaquad, right? That's a New England word, shaquad. They get really nervous and upset about it, and they think they can't do it. But as I have said before, and I'll say again, I think live streaming is a wonderful, special way of performing that is unique to itself. It's not standing on a recital hall stage, and it's not being in a recording studio, and it's not being on American Idol. It is its own kind of performing. It's special. So you have to treat it a little specially. But for classical singers, for cabaret singers, for vocalists, I think live streaming is a really important part of what we're going to be doing coming forward. I think that it's a way of accessing an audience and a way of interacting with an audience that's unlike anything else we do. Some people, you know, won't like it. And you want to be a live performer and only do live. I totally respect that. And some people just don't want to do live anymore because, I don't know, they have too many fans and they just want to be in the studio and they just want to create environments in the studio. I totally get it. I'm kind of in a both, where I like performing on stage. I like doing recordings, but sometimes I'm in between both of those. And to me, this live streaming is like, it's this wonderful in-between place where I can have the immediacy of live and I can interact with other people and I'm totally safe and I don't have to wait for a venue to hire me or book me. So many of my performer friends, you know, we've had cancellations right and left. I had to cancel a fun gig I was looking forward to last night, my live karaoke at the Pump House, because there's just too much Omicron around. And I was really heartbroken to have to do it because we just gotten going. We had so much fun in December, but I can't do it. But I can do this. So this takes away some of the pain of not being able to see those people live, because a lot of the people who I think were going to be in the room last night, you're talking to me online right now. That's great. I love that. So I'm doing this cabaret all about that in July called I Can't Do That. And that means I got to write it. So I have a bunch of ideas and I've started to sketch out some things. But I think I'm going to be actually singing it and playing it myself because I like doing that. That's fun. So that'll be in July. And then later in July, I'm also doing a second cabaret, completely different, and it's about Madeline Kahn. So I think you all know who she was, right? Fantastic, fantastic person, wonderful performer and singer who passed away in 1999. She was famous for doing Paper Moon, Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein. She was in all those movies, but she was also a fantastic singer. So as an actress, she also was a singer. She was also a singing actress. She appeared on Broadway several different times. And most, like, you know, sort of funny singers, I'm pointing to myself like, yeah, use her as a model, or she is one of our inspirations. And she also sang soprano. So I'm going to do a concert of Madeline Kahn songs and talk about what she's meant to me. So that, yeah, she was in Clue. Flames, flames from the side of my face, right? So that is also in July. So I have two of those in July. So I'm glad. The one I can't do that, I'll be, you know, fairly memorized, but I'll have music in front of me. But the one from Madeline Kahn, I think will be totally memorized. And that's going to be on July 30th at the Arctic Cabaret Club in Warwick. So I don't think tickets are on sale yet, but I think they will be soon. I'm really looking forward to that. And I hope to perform that at Arctic and also some other places. Ida, thank you so much. She said, yeah, getting your audience to participate is instead of a talking head. That's true. Yeah, Ida, you want to come and sing on my show sometime? Mm-hmm. So Ida, by the way, is the one who runs the Arctic Cabaret Club. And they have a great lineup of singers and performers for the entire year. So you should check it out. Let me see if I can put in Arctic Cabaret Club. Can I make a second text box? I don't know if I can or not. How can I do that? I think I can make more than one text box. So how do I do that? If I go up to Ecamm, see, you get to suffer with me while I figure this out. So text overlays, I see that text box. There's text. All right. Check out Arctic Cabaret Club, arcticplayhouse.org, I think. Did I get that right, Ida? Yes, and she says tickets are on sale right now for my show in July. Of course, yay. All right, so there, I'll put that above. Do that. And now I'll have to check and make sure that I got it right. Is it Arctic Playhouse or is it the Arctic Playhouse? We're going to find out all at once, right? That's important, right? Have you already been online and subscribed to them and all that fun stuff? You should, right? That's important. TheArcticPlayhouse.com. Okay, I'll get it right. It's not org, it's TheArcticPlayhouse.com. Those names are so hard, right? There we go. TheArcticPlayhouse.com. There. So that's going to be July 30th. So I have these two cabarets and I'm starting to work on them now. Really, they've been underway for months, just getting singing ideas and kind of stuff, right? So that's really good. All right, can I put that in the chat here? I want to look at it. What do you want to look at, Karen? You want to see the Arctic website? I can do that, totally. So that is the Arctic Playhouse.org. Oh, com. Sorry. No. It's going to be the Arctic Playhouse.com. There. All right. That's it. So, yeah. And actually, I have, TAP, the Arctic Playhouse TAP. Very good. I have a complete cabaret that I actually did there a while ago that is waiting to go online. So maybe I should figure out how to schedule that as well. That's a skill I've never done before, where I've actually streamed like a previous performance I've done and kind of watch it with people. So maybe I'll practice that skill this week too and figure out how to do that. I did that last year with my friend Jim Rice at the height of the pandemic, which kind of feels like what it feels like now. So I was always waiting for like the perfect time to launch that, and I think there is no perfect time, but I think we're getting close to it this week in terms of stuff. So I'm doing all of that kind of stuff. Oh, my husband says in my teaching, I think he wants to call me up. So my husband's coming back from a long trip today, so the house will be nice and clean and ready for him just to drop all of his junk in the front door. Yay! That'll be fun. So I think we've successfully tested this, and I really appreciate all of you sticking with me while I tested it. And now I get to go back and listen to how did the sound, and what did the video look like, and did the stream successfully go out to all these places, and I'll probably be back on again to test out more things. And maybe I'll grab one of you all viewers at the same time and see if I can test it in there. So thank you for sticking with me. It's greatly appreciated, and I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you around the bend.